Welcome to episode 64 of Love, Sex, Lies, and Related Talks. Today I'm talking about is the relationship or the marriage what you really need? Most of the time we think a relationship is what we need or a marriage is what we need, but what we really need is ourselves and to do the work in our own space. Reason being that I get a lot of potential clients as well as coaching clients that come to me about having a relationship or wanting to get married. And during the course of coaching, some of them realize, hey, I don't even have a relationship with myself. I thought I did. But what I did was to have an idea of what I want, but not necessarily what I need. And when you don't really know what you need, the wants are temporary. They don't solve the solution, or they don't yield the solutions that you need to resolve the issues that you're dealing with, and you may not really have reached the goals that you need to attain before getting into the relationship or diving into the marriage. I speak as a coach who has previously been married 15 years. And prior to getting married, I was in that relationship for 4 years, so 19 years total together. And not that it's something that I really wanted, but I realized that I did not know myself and I needed to find myself and do the work in my own space. And that's what led me into coaching other people and supporting other people because this is my life's mission. Like I said, today we're looking at is the relationship what you really need, or is the marriage what you really need? Without doing the work in your own space, you may not realize that there is a lot of work that needs to be done. You may find partners ghosting because they're not emotionally there yet. And it may also be that you're attracting people that are bringing you a conscious awakening that you're not there yet. And when you find yourself having to beg, chase, plead, waiting for the text messages, yelling, nagging, all that stuff, is because you're not there yet and you have expectations that the other person will meet those needs that you're not consciously aware of. Reality is that if we don't meet the needs in our own lives, we will not really find the partner who will complement those needs that we have and support the vision. And if we lack goals and if we lack values, then there's still a lot of work for us to do. Values, because your core values are your drivers. They're the drivers to the relationship with yourself, the drivers to the relationship with anybody else. If one of your core values is honesty, but you aren't honest with yourself, then you may still have some work to do, because you have to be able to be honest, thoroughly honest with yourself, and owning those truthful moments that may seem painful, because truth is actually very liberating, and truth is part of love. Love always speaks the truth. And if you're not speaking the truth to yourself yet, then you may need to start looking at, are you really in a relationship with yourself? Because if you are, then you will operate from a place of love. Love always trusts. Love always speaks the truth. Love, it doesn't keep a record of wrongs. Love is patient. Love is kind. Are you those things to yourself yet? And if you're not, then you have to start looking at it. And I'm not saying focus on the external, because that's what some of us do. And then we romanticize the whole thing about the relationship. But a relationship or a marriage isn't really about the romance. It's about working together, collaborating, complementing, supporting. And all that takes work and patience. And if you're not really patient enough with yourself, then how can you be patient with somebody else? If you're keeping a record of wrongs in somebody else's life and trying to keep a tab on everything they do negative, then you may be operating from a negative space, which is not a place of love or a space of fear. And love does not coexist with fear, nor does it coexist with pain. So you have to really look at yourself and say, in this season I'm in, what do I really need? What do I really need to work on? What do I really need to do to get to where I need to be, so that when I'm there, then I can attract the partner who will complement me? And if you're attracting less than right now, is because you're not there yet. You still have a lot of work to do. They're only bringing you conscious awakening. It's all the experience that you need. There is no wrong or right relationship, like I've always shared with you. Every relationship brings us a conscious awakening to the parts of us we're yet to discover. That's a quote from my book on Becoming Restored. And when you don't really know you yet, you may know parts of you, but you don't know yourself to become whole, to become complete, Then people will come into your life to bring you awareness, including friends, family members, co-workers, and that's where you need to sit down and do the work. Doing the work of healing, doing the work of owning the truth, doing the work of becoming accountable and responsible for your life, and allowing yourself to really evolve. Because if you're not evolving, then you're stuck. If you're stuck, you will have a lazy mindset. I don't like labels, but I use the label lazy because your mind is just like blank and you don't know what to do and you're not sure how to go about it. And what that does is when you get into a relationship, you become codependent on the partner. And then when it gets overwhelming from them, they may ghost on you or they may end the relationship. And what you discover in a healthy relationship is that there's no codependency, there's interdependency because you're both independent. And then when you come together, your interdependency is based on you collaborating and supporting each other as you both evolve. And your relationship also evolves to where you're not leaving anyone behind or your relationship is not leaving you behind. And if you're not able to do all that then there's still work to be done. And we're getting to the end of the year. Today is the 5th day of December. So we're just a few more days away from 2023. And one of the goals you want to set is to set the relationship goal to understand yourself enough and to know yourself and become whole in your own space. So when you become whole in your space, it becomes easier to get into a healthy relationship that's helping you evolve, that you're not really rushing or chasing or begging or becoming codependent or nagging or expecting your partner to do the impossible when you haven't really done that work in your space yet. So ask yourself, are you really ready for the relationship? If you're not, then do the work in your space. If you are, be patient enough to evaluate your partner based on the relationship you have with yourself, because every relationship that you have is a reflection of the relationship you have with yourself. Let me say that again. Every relationship you have is a reflection of the relationship you have with yourself. And if you don't have a healthy relationship with yourself, people will bring you that awareness and you would attract people that are unhealthy, which means you're not yet ready for the relationship or you're not yet ready for the marriage. And I'm talking about marriage because people think that marriage is easy. Marriage is a lot of work. You both work on yourselves as individuals. You work on the relationship. You work to build the relationship. You work to maintain building the relationship. You work to raise the children in the relationship. You work to collaborate effectively in the relationship. You work to resolve issues in the relationship. Everything about the relationship is work. And love itself is work. Because by the time you look at love as being patient, being kind, being self-sufficient, being respectful, being honest, being truthful, being trustworthy, all that is work. And if you're not doing all that work yet, then how do you expect the partner to do the work? Because you show them who you are and they reflect that back to you. Your partner is going to be a mirror of you. And if you're mirroring someone who's unhealthy, then you're not there yet. So do the work in your space. In the remaining days of the year, start setting goals to do the work. Always great to do the work. When I started doing the work 14 years ago, prior to me becoming a coach, I literally had a blast discovering the things that I wasn't consciously aware of. And the more I gain conscious awakening on a daily basis, which I still do because healing is a lifetime process, the more I'm open to learning about myself and connecting to the parts of me and honoring my body. Because most of the time you don't even see your body as your temple. If you're not honoring your body as part of loving yourself, as part of setting the healthy relationship with yourself, then you may slide and not really realize that your body is your temple. What you feed it with, what you clothe it with, what you think with it, the belief system, the thought process, the words you utter, they're all a reflection of your temple. And if your temple is not healthy, it's time to go back in and do the work and not think that you're ready for the relationship. Do the work in your own space, birth newness into your space, continue to birth that newness into your space. And the more you discover you, the more you're going to attract better to yourself, the less you would have toxic people in your life, the more you would have healthy boundaries, the more you allow people to see who you truly are, and the more people will respect you for who you are when you show them. That's all I have for this episode. Until next time, you all stay blessed. And remember to never stop loving while living. When you stop loving, you stop living. When you stop living, it means it's time to go back to the maker. But while you're still here, do the healing work. Love yourself deeply. Set yourself as a reflection of that partner you want to attract. And remember to date privately, court consciously, and marry wisely. You'll have a good one. God bless. Bye-bye.